Hey, hello, and welcome to Small Town Big Business. We're a podcast about doing big business in small towns across the middle United States. I'm Russell Williams. I'm director of EThOs. We are a small business incubator, co-working spaces, training and development center here in downtown Marion, Illinois. And we're coming to you from the historic Citadel building here on Tower Square Plaza. Well, hey, thank you for joining us. And we do want to thank our sponsors for making the Small Town Big Business podcast possible. So I want to thank Arcadia Wealth Group, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, the Swinford Media Group, Fowler Heating and Cooling, the Watermark Auto Group Foundation, and also our producers at Union Street Arts. And we have some wonderful guests here today that we're going to interview, Martin Parsons and Akemi Ayers. And you guys are from Legal Advocacy Headquarters here in Southern Illinois. Hey, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Russ. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to have you. So Martin and Akemi, tell us a little bit more about your background and who you are and where you come from, and maybe about family or anything that you want to share.
Sure. So I can get started. Hello, I'm Akemi. I have lived in Southern Illinois for, 16 years or so. My father was in the military, so we moved around a little bit. But I call home Minnesota. I grew up, just north of the Twin Cities.
In the Midwest.
Yes, in the Midwest. So I grew up there. I took a couple gap years trying to figure out what I wanted to do after high school. Then did go to college in Missouri.
Which college?
At Missouri Western State University.
Sure, yeah.
I did the corporate world for a couple years in Kansas City, and then decided, I don't know if this is for me. I was in my mid-20s and thought, okay, well, what am I going to do? And so I actually, I was very active when I was an undergrad, and so I decided to go back to my alma mater and work for them, and loved it. I didn't think it was a job. I was working with all these college students, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I thought, well, gosh, these are people that you can actually have a career doing this.
Okay.
And so how I ended up in Illinois, I actually went to graduate school here at Western Illinois University.
What did you
study? I studied college student personnel.
Okay.
So a degree in higher education. And just ended up in Southern Illinois working at SIU School of Law.
Great. How long did you do that?
So I did that for, 16 and a half years.
Okay. Wonderful.
At the law school.
Yeah. What did you love about working here at SIU?
Yeah. I love the students. That's the best part about it all. I think they keep you young and they keep you hip. You know, they keep you knowing what's in. But just seeing them grow as they're. My career ended as the director of admissions there. So I saw them, before they were our student.
Okay,
and then I was with them the 3 years that they were our student, and I'm now friends with a lot of our alumni.
Okay.
And so seeing them grow and seeing them have their own families and have careers, and that's an awesome thing to experience.
Awesome. How about you, Martin?
I am from Illinois, central Illinois, from a little town called Hoopeston, up near Danville, Champaign-Urbana area. And
Some great basketball teams have come from that community.
They have. Our claim is the high school home of Thad Matta, was the Ohio State coach for a while. Yeah. So that's one of our claims to fame.
Absolutely.
I didn't go to college right away. I joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. Didn't really have any better options. I just didn't think about doing anything else.
Isn't this the birthday today that we're recording?
Today is the Marine Corps birthday.
Marine Corps, yeah.
It
Semper
is.
Fi.
Thank you. I didn't wear my pin, but I have one ready for later. So I joined the Marine Corps, and while I was in the Marine Corps, I was on embassy duty, and that's where I kind of decided I want to be a lawyer.
Okay.
I liked the State Department life and living in embassies, so I got out of the Marines to go to college.
Okay.
I went to a junior college for a couple of years, and then went and dropped out and went. But when I first got out of the Marines, I went to the library. I'm a big library fan because I didn't know how to be a lawyer or what it took. So I went to the library and got picked a book off the shelf that was called "So You Want to Be a Lawyer." And in those days, back in the 90s, you checked out a book by pulling the library card out, and you signed your name, and they stamped the due date on your book. And when I pulled it out, the library card was full. There wasn't any more room. So as I was looking at it, I realized that I had checked that book out when I was 11.
Oh, wow.
And then 1 year later when I was 12. So then now I'm 22, 10 years later past that, and I'm going to check the book out again.
That's neat.
So because it was full, they gave it to me.
Oh, wow.
I took it home, put it in a box, sort of forgot about it, and joined the National Guard for more educational benefits. Spend another 22 years part-time and full-time in the Army National Guard, all the while chipping away at my undergraduate degree, finally finishing it while I was deployed to Iraq. We came back. I graduated from Western as well by coincidence, and then retired. A couple years later, I retired from the military, didn't really have a plan, and decided to go to law school.
Okay.
So I came to Southern, and as I was preparing to come down here, I was digging through a box of stuff, and I found that card. I found that library card.
Wow.
So I had it laminated, put in a frame, and it was on my desk while I was going to law school to remind me that
is good.
And help me keep going. And that's where that journey had started.
Wow, that's a great story.
So thank you.
It's still on your desk.
Yeah, I still have it on my desk in the office
now.
And then I graduated from law school here in here locally, and worked at a small firm for a couple of years doing business and transactional work, and then had the opportunity to go back to the law school and work there full-time, running the Veterans Legal Assistance Program Clinic, helping veterans with VA disability claims appeals.
Oh, very good.
So that's where Kami and I met. I didn't meet her when I was a student. It was after. And we eventually decided that it was our time to depart SIU.
Now, you taught at SIU in the law school.
Yes, I taught at
How many years there?
I was there for 5 years.
Okay.
Teaching that clinic, small groups of students, teaching them how to be lawyers in the context of VA disability claims, primarily.
What was your favorite part of SIU?
I'd have to, like Kami, it's the students, working with the students, seeing, as a teacher, seeing that light bulb come on, or they would come to me and say, all this stuff that I've been learning finally makes sense because of how we're applying it now. And just seeing those aha moments.
Good.
And just seeing them grow and progress and then graduate and do great things.
Good.
So I like the students a lot as well.
Well, we should mention that you're business partners, but you're actually partners in real life, I guess.
We are. We're married.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So there's not many married couples that decide, we're going to start a business together. We're going to be business partners. And we're talk through some of those challenges if we can. Sure. But where did the idea come from that, hey, we're teachers, we're professors of law, and we love law students, and we're doing a valuable service there. At what point did you say, there's something else? There's something else we want to do?
Should I say? So probably like a lot of listeners, we kind of had this aha moment started in spring of 2020.
Okay.
The pandemic hit, and we we pivoted and working from home and working differently. And I think, like a lot of people, we reevaluated kind of how we wanted to spend our time and how we wanted to use that. And so that's when Martin and I would go on a lot of, we call them our COVID walks, thinking about, being the director of admissions, I did a lot of, my job was customer service. And so utilizing those relationships and that experience that I have and taking his legal knowledge and expertise and what can we do with this. And so it really started there in those COVID walks and thinking about, okay, what can we do and how do we want to be different?
Okay.
And what does it look like for us?
Okay.
So,
and at Southern Illinois University, you were always on the administrative side?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yes.
just misspoke when I said teaching, but you were on the teaching.
He was on the teaching side.
Right. So conversations as you're walking, and then how did that formulate into a business?
Yeah.
Well, as we're thinking about it, one of the things that Kami would say was like all these young or younger law students, they're graduating, they're in their 30s, and they're leaving and they're starting firms, practices. Like, what do they know about life and practice? And that was one of the things that encouraged us to, we could probably do this. We both have some life experience. So as we thought about it, we sort of set some milestones. Maybe we can do it if we can find the right location, or if these certain things fall into place. And one of them being, the first one probably being a location, because EThOs wasn't around at that time to be a location, because we can practice really more.
And where is Legal Advocacy headquarters?
We're in Carterville, downtown Carterville.
Yeah, and at that time it was COVID, so we were doing everything remotely. So we're like, well, geez, we don't even need a space, And then the more we thought about it, we were thinking, no, we really need to separate our family life from our work life, and that was kind of one of the challenges that we experienced too during COVID. So that was kind of a fun story. So, and during the whole thing, Martin and I just kept saying, okay, if it's meant to be, we'll have signs. The things will come together for us. And so we were out walking actually one day, and in Carterville, there's not a lot of commercial real estate existing.
Especially downtown.
Yeah, especially downtown. We wanted to be downtown. That's where we live. So we wanted to be a part of the community where we live. And so, there's not much real estate down there. And so we would, always walk around and check. And one day on one of our walks, I said, we were right at the intersection, like the main intersection in downtown. And I said, let's take a right here and see what's down here. Okay. And we happened to walk by a building and had a for sale sign. It was like a for sale by owner sign in it. And so we're looking in the windows, trying to see, and it was vacant for sure. And so I said, let's go home and see, let's try to figure this out. The number, we couldn't even see the number,
It had been for sale so long, the number was just faded.
Yeah, it was
gone.
like faded. So it was just this for sale sign. So I said, let's figure out who owns this place, So we get home and we start doing our internet research. And we figure out who owns it. And we found the address of the owners. And so I think you sent them a letter, right? And then of course, with mail, and then we're waiting, and I'm not a patient person. It was testing my patience. And we never heard from them. And so then we're like, okay, well, maybe that wasn't meant to be. And I said, well, we can't give up yet. We have to figure it out. And so somehow I think through other resources, you found an email address for the owner. And so Martin actually emailed the owner, and right away we got a response. And he lived in Southern Illinois, and he had moved out of state. But he actually, later that week, he was going to be in town. And so he said, I don't live there, but I'm going to be here. He works for the Marion VA. So he's like, I'm going to be here. You can see it. And so then we were super excited. And of course, I'm saying, well, this is a sign, And so, so we saw the building, and it was built in 1912.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, it's an older building. But it had been vacant for a number of years and had been a lot of different things. But really, the building was a shell. The old concrete floors, they had partially finished the front, but it was basically like an old, long building that you see in downtown, And so it's really just an open floor plan.
A lot of these buildings have...
It didn't have a name. It just had the date.
Yeah. And supposedly they used to make... We've learned through talking with people, they used to make fishing lures here. Okay. Yeah, so it was interesting. So anyway, so we saw the building, and, and so I think that was in April of 2020, right? Yeah. And so then we thought, okay, well, we'll see what happens if anything else comes up. And then a few months later, I think he had contacted you and said, hey, what are you guys doing? Are you going to do this or not? And that's a huge thing to buy a building. You know, I mean, it's one thing to sit and think about, oh, we want to do this, and then, but to actually make that step and buy it. It was like real. It was going to happen.
That's awesome.
So we did that. I think, so we ended up doing that, and and then it was just.
So did you incorporate the business in 2020?
Oh, it was actually 2021 is when we looked at the building.
Was it?
So because we spent about a year thinking about it. So 2021 was when we saw it, and then we bought it in August 2021, and very shortly after that is when we created Legal Advocacy Headquarters LLC. After we decided and a lot of discussion about, well, what are we going to call it? That's also a discussion. So
tell me about your roles in this business, and also who do you serve, and what type of services do you offer? So either question.
Go ahead.
So I'm the attorney. We have one attorney, and our primary focus is small business advice and counsel. We really want to help small businesses because oftentimes small businesses don't get the help they probably should have up front. And so we're trying to fill that gap and help them before they need or they get in trouble, I guess. So that's our primary focus is small businesses with all that goes into setting up a business and keeping a business running. And then we do some trademarks as well, which is part of the branding of a business. But that's really our primary focus is there. We just want to be able to do that well on a very focused scale.
Great. And then you're on more of the administrative side?
I am, yes. So I'm the first contact that they will meet when they come in, and I'll be their support and be with them through their whole journey through our office and keep Martin on track and all that sort of thing.
It's a tough job.
It is.
That's excellent. Well, you've already helped us here at EThOs with the Small Business Incubator. You've offered a course. Can you talk a little bit more about that course and what that was based on?
Sure. We did that 1 hour talk, and it's based on my book, Top 10 Legal Mistakes Entrepreneurs Make in Their Small Business, structured around the initial setup of the business, making sure you select the right business structure and keeping the formalities, and then the things that you do progressively, getting handbooks and having contracts and paying people properly and those kinds of things.
So rather new business owners, I think, but what's your favorite part so far? What's your favorite part about being a business owner?
I like the freedom to be able to do what we want to do. If something's not right, well, we can change it, you know? And we have control of that. So that's what I like.
A little different than university system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
That's awesome.
So that's
How about yourself, Martin?
Yeah, I like the control for sure. As a military guy, it was one of the things that was a little challenging for me in academia is the lack of, as much structure, but also the control. So being able to, as Kami said, if something's not working or not working as well as we'd like, we can change it. And the freedom to do the things that we want to do, freedom how we want to spend our time. It was definitely one of the things as we were evaluating or reevaluating our time at the schools, like how do we want to spend our time? Where do we want to spend our time? And that was part of what prompted us to go, is we just decided we just didn't want to spend it as much there. We wanted to be able to have control on how we spent it and who we spent it with and what we did with the time.
Excellent.
And you're a problem solver, though. You like to, he has this phrase that he uses, and I'll say, oh, we have a problem. And he's like, no, it's a solution opportunity.
There you go. I love that.
And so when we've had people contact us, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, like, what are we going to do? Or is this, he'll say, no, this is great. And he loves to dig in and figure it out. So I think that's one thing that I can see that you enjoy and are really one of your strengths.
And how about for Kami, from your perspective, being a business partner and also a marriage partner, what do you learn that is great about Kami being in this business?
Her customer service and her taking care of people is just phenomenal. She just really loves hospitality and taking care of people. And so for us, for me, that's tremendous. I like that. I'm just not as good at it because I like people, but I get tied up with doing other things or my focus goes elsewhere. But her customer service. It's a story that we would hear a lot when she was at the law school. Students who had a choice, students who had good grades, they could have gone to other schools, chose to come to SIU because of how Akemi made them feel when she came to visit. And so for our business, that's just really important. That front-facing person is so important in any, especially a service business, is very, very important.
Yeah. You both clearly have some great strengths for business. That is awesome. Let's talk about challenges, right? So new businesses, challenges. Is there one or two that you can think of that has been something that you've really struggled with, but you've either working through now or you have worked through those in the first year or two of your business?
Yeah, well, partly because we are so new. There's a lot. We don't have as many challenges yet. They're just new, the startup things. But one of the things that is a strength, or good and bad, that we've found is, we're not from here.
Okay.
And as we were just at an event yesterday, and everybody around the tables, there were 6 or 8 people, and they're all from Carterville.
Sure. And related to each other.
And
here.
they either related or they know.
Or so-and-so,
so it takes longer to build trust and build relationships than it would if we were from here.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it hasn't been a significant impediment because those people have been tremendous in welcoming us.
Good.
As well.
And I think that's also one of our strengths, though, is that because we do like people, and we do like to learn about people, and we're a part of this community, you know, and so understanding the history of it and and everything. I think so. I think it's definitely a challenge, but I think it's also an exciting thing too, just given the opportunity.
Let's talk more about those networking and connecting opportunities, because you two have been very much part of that here at EThOs. Once a month we offer what we call Eats at EThOs, and really the core thing is connect people together, connect you with other business leaders, community leaders, and then maybe a startup entrepreneur that is offering the food, which is excellent bonus too. But talk more about those opportunities that you have found here in our region of Southern Illinois, where you're like, man, this is invaluable.
Well, EThOs, the programs that you have here are fantastic, and everyone, the times that we've come, have been so friendly and so welcoming, and we have discovered some great eating opportunities too
food
here.
Service
So food
entrepreneurs,
service, absolutely. So that's definitely, I love that piece of it.
Yeah, and we've gotten involved in addition to EThOs, we're involved in the chamber in Carterville, which is where we've done some things recently. We're recently involved joined the chamber in Marion as well. The Rotary, taking almost any opportunity that we can to meet people.
Any other invaluable resources that you have found here in our communities that you're like, well, that really is helpful for us starting a business? Maybe a person or an organization other than the chambers that we've talked about.
Chambers, the SIU Small Business Development, I'm not sure their acronym, but
SBDC, Small Business Development Center
is a great resource as well.
What have you gotten from them? Just name one or two things that you made.
We've gotten some advice on bookkeeping from them. I haven't used them as much as I would. As probably should have, and probably will.
Yeah. Well, and we're in partnerships with them too, so we've already started offering some of the courses here that they would be able to teach, and hopefully do some advisement here in Marion, Illinois too.
Good.
So it'd be excellent.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. We just had so many things that have fallen into place for us along the way through. The city, I'd forgotten about Carterville. They were very supportive as well.
The city government
itself. We are in a TIF district, so we were provided some TIF funding to help remodel. But we have been very fortunate from finding the building and then all the way through to where we're at now.
We did a lot of planning though too. I mean, we thought through. We started having these conversations, during our COVID walks, but then it actually we didn't open until August of 22. So that was a solid couple of years that we've been thinking about it and planning, and it's been in the works.
Sure.
So I think maybe that has helped us too.
Now, you mentioned TIF District, and I bet there's some listeners and viewers who are not familiar with what the TIF is. Can you briefly
Sure.
Without going too far into,
Yeah. And I can't remember the acronym, tax incentive something district, but
Yeah.
It's areas in small towns typically that they have allocated and determined that it's a district that they want to improve. So there's money that comes from taxes, an offset against taxes to help people, small businesses primarily, remodel or buy, do other things with the money.
Right.
And it's often forgotten or unknown benefit
Exactly.
in many small towns.
That's a great benefit for small town business owners and startups to look into the TIF districts. That's true. So being from the Midwest but not being from Southern Illinois has been both a challenge and a benefit too. Can you think of anything else on that topic of how love doing business here in Southern Illinois?
Yeah, the people are just very welcoming. They're kind. It's just a really good place to do business, I think. They're very helpful, willing to provide a variety of things that you need. I can't even hardly could list the things that people have helped us with, provided even just time, and just very, very helpful, opening there's businesses around us who have been very helpful in helping us.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and the chamber, I know Carterville Chamber has really done a great job of helping us get our message out.
Harriet Mize, who's the executive director, she is it. I think highly of her.
Yes, and she there was something that came up, and she said, "What about this?" or "What about this?" She's always giving us ideas, and I'm like, "Oh, that's fantastic." So
So good. I think in a larger community, you'd get lost in.
Yes, absolutely.
That wouldn't be able to get that attention that we can get in a smaller community.
Right.
For sure.
So being at EThOs, I have a lot of people that do contact us asking specific questions, and some of them have to do with how to legally start a business and what legal help, and they may not know exactly what that is. So why would they come to you? Can you talk to maybe a potential client, more specific about how you could help them start a business?
Yeah. We coming to the law late in life, I look at it a little differently, maybe, even though I'm gray-haired. I haven't been practicing that long. So when we were thinking about this and seeing the need for small businesses, and having done some of that myself when I was younger, I know that a lot of small businesses don't get the help they need because they can't afford it or they don't think they can afford it. So they just try to do it themselves.
Yeah.
So we offer hopefully more affordable options. We have flat rate pricing for most of our offerings, so that a small business owner knows what it's going to take. If they need a handbook, I can tell them this is what it's going to cost, and if they can't afford it now, they can budget for it. So there's certainty in the pricing. Or if we're going to review a contract, I'll tell them up front. So for most of the things that we do, they would know how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, that's a huge help.
And then we also have a couple of subscription models that if someone needs to call, ask questions, those subscriptions allow them to do that, to pretty much ask almost unlimited questions or send emails with questions, so that we can hopefully keep them out of trouble. Sort of our tagline is proactively protecting your business. We want to help them on the front end, so that they don't have to litigate it where it would cost them a whole lot more later.
That's excellent. And so would they contact you if someone's looking for services and inquiring about that?
Sure, they could start with me.
And how would they do that? With a website and elsewhere?
So visiting our website, legaladvocacyheadquarters.com.
Okay.
Or info@legaladvocacyheadquarters.com.
Yeah, that's excellent. What did we miss? What else do you guys want to talk about that would help you guys out?
I think, so if you're thinking about starting a business, since this is still fairly new to us, one thing that Martin did so much research and so much information gathering and just reading, and so that's so important. Another thing probably, is to to find someone to have a place like EThOs or some kind of resources that will help guide you through that, and having someone to bounce ideas off of and to really use that would be good.
And I'm an over planner, so I probably will tend to read or study too much, almost to. So the other part would be, at some point you got to do it too. And we plan for a long time, and I think that I might have just kept planning if we hadn't have been forced to move on. So that was the other part after getting the resources and the mentoring, and definitely having a plan.
But to be flexible, though, too, because there's so many things that, what we thought we were going to do is not what we're actually doing now,
Sure.
And so things change, and as we talked about it and stuff. So I think to be flexible with that, too, and to listen, because there's such great advice out there and mentorship, and so to be open to that and listen to their ideas, because they've done it. So they have experience.
That is good advice. Yeah, appreciate it. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us. Thank you for being so involved with EThOs, really from the very beginning here, because you're a new business. We're a new small business incubator. But I loved how you've been connecting with us and connecting with the small town community leaders, business owners, and the mayor and his staff. And so you guys are go-getters. I mean, you guys aren't just focusing inwardly on how to provide services, but you're out there offering those services and connecting with people, and I love that. We're getting to know each other more and more.
Yeah,
right?
we are. Yeah,
that is excellent.
Great.
So Martin Parsons and Akemi Ayers from Legal Advocacy Headquarters, which is located in Carterville, Illinois. Great interview.
Thank you so
Your
much.
first podcast interview, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So this was fun. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you so much.
So I thank you, and also want to thank our viewers and listeners for tuning in to Small Town Big Business. We're so appreciative, and also grateful for our supporters and sponsors, and want to mention them also: Fowler Heating and Cooling, Arcadia Wealth Group, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, the Watermark Auto Group Foundation, Swinford Media Group, and of course, Union Street Art. If you want to know more about EThOs, a small business incubator, co-working spaces, some training and development center here in downtown Marion, Illinois, I'm Russell Williams. You can contact me at russell@watermarkethos.org or look for us online at ethosmarion.org. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. You can subscribe on YouTube channel, looking for Small Town Big Business, or the many podcast platforms that we use. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Small Town Big Business. I'm Russ Williams.